Colleagues, I too rise in support of this Senate Resolution number 23, but not so as the leader of the Senate, of this body, or even an individual senator like each and every one of you, but rather, more importantly, for me, which carries at a very personal level much more weight, as a citizen of the United States of America and as a resident of this great state, the state of California. I think that during these very turbulent times, we should put the nation before party. And it has been referenced on several occasions with regards to perhaps criticism of the current president of the United States the past few weeks. I think those critiques were manifested through Senate resolutions that covered several topics. I think one was dealing with the issue of immigration in sensitive locations. That is a current issue, dealing with the president and the executive orders. I think the second one had to do with the issue of health care, which is in real time happening before us today, right now in Washington. And there is some very strong opinions on the issue of health care, the ACA in particular. And today we have the severity of an issue that is weighing down the nation, which is the issue of the possible involvement of a foreign nation, specifically the Russians, in the American electoral system. It can be viewed or manifested as criticisms, and I can understand that if you've been a strong supporter of President Trump since day one, and I can understand that. There have been criticisms that have been laid out on past presidents. I would find it a little difficult, to sort of equate, if you will, the severity and the weight of the issue of the birther movement and whether then President Barack Obama was born in Kenya or Indonesia or elsewhere. And when you weigh that in comparison to the potential real involvement of the Russians in the American electoral system. So what I'd like to say, not so much as a leader of this body or an individual senator with an equal vote, as each and every one of you has on this body, but as a resident of California and as a U.S. citizen, that we actually put the nation, our nation, before party. On Monday, FBI Director Comey and National Security Administration Director Admiral Rogers confirmed that members of the president's campaign are currently under investigation related to Russian interference in our election. This is unprecedented, period. This is unprecedented. Officials close to the president are being investigated by the FBI for potential collusion with a hostile foreign power seeking to tilt the outcome of our elections. We simply cannot proceed with business as usual, given these very unusual and extraordinary circumstances. I do believe that the American people demand the truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth, because the integrity of our democracy is at stake. And yet some of our representatives, including the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, our very own Devin Nunes from Central California, who served in the Assembly, seems to be more concerned with identifying the sources of the leaks than investigating their content. And rather than getting to the bottom of this attack on our democracy, Representative Nunes spent his morning yesterday conjuring evidence to support the president's conspiracy theories. In fact, in leaking details of past investigations to the press, he himself may have disclosed classified information. He also took the extremely unusual and inappropriate step of briefing the president on the status of the committee's investigation. That is highly unusual.
For what purpose do you rise?
Point of order. I would like
my Senate friend to stick on the subject about the resolution. I thought that's what we were here for. I noticed we're going down a lot of rabbit trails.
Well, I think he's referring to Congressman Nunes, who is on the committee in Congress that is part of the investigation of Russia.
Not just this one, but there's been other we've been listening to. So trying to keep it focused so we keep
So noted.
it, as the senator from Santa Barbara said, focused on the resolution at hand.
So noted. Thank you,
Thank you
Senator
very much.
Morell. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam President. As a courtesy to my good colleague from Southern California, I do believe I'm within the parameters, but nonetheless, I will narrow those parameters even more so to hopefully they will be acceptable to our colleague from Southern California. But I do believe at minimum, because as Madam President, as you just noted, Mr. Nunes, as the head of the Intelligence Committee in the House, is in charge of the investigation with regards to potential collusion with the Russians. At minimum, he should resign his position. At the very minimum, he should recuse himself from any votes with regards to this investigation. There can no longer be any reasonable doubt that we need an independent investigation, an independent commission entirely free from the partisan influence. As Republican Senator John McCain, a hero, a true American hero, said just yesterday, Congress no longer has the credibility to handle this alone.
One moment, Senator De Leon.
Please.
Please.
Under a point of order, I'm confused what this has to do with the resolution. And if you rule it out of order, I'd like to have a vote on your ruling.
Okay. I do rule you out of order, and we can take a vote at this time. Point of order is not well taken.
Well, I said it politely. Fine.
So you are currently appealing the decision of the chair.
That's correct.
I am ruling you out of order, so we will now take a vote on that ruling.
And everybody in the lounge needs to
Okay.
come in.
I'm not ruling you out of order. I apologize. I'm ruling your point out of order. Not well taken. And you are appealing the decision of the chair. The question is, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? Senator Monning is asking for an aye vote, and Senator Anderson is asking for an aye vote. Excuse me, Senator Monning is asking for an aye vote. Senator Anderson is asking for a no vote. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Allen? Aye. Anderson? No. Atkins? Aye. Bates? Bell? Aye. Berryhill? Bradford? Aye. Canella? De Leon?
Aye.
Aye. Dodd? Aye. Fuller? Gaines? No. Galgiani? Glazer? Aye. Hernandez? Aye. Hertzberg? Aye. Hill? Aye. Weso? Aye. Jackson? Aye. Lara? Leva? Aye. McGuire? Aye. Mendoza? Aye. Mitchell? Aye. Monning? Aye. Morlock? Morrell? No. Newman? Aye. Wynn? No. Nilsson? No. Pan? Aye. Portantino? Aye. Roth? Aye. Skinner? Aye. Stern? Aye. Stone? No. Vidak? No. Wykowski? Wiener? Aye. Wykowski? Aye. Wilk? No. Bates? No. Galgiani? Aye.
Ayes 26, noes 9. The chair's decision stands. Senator De Leon, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam President. I'll wrap it up right now so we can get on with the business so we can all get home. I do want to thank my colleague from East County, San Diego. This is how a point of order should be handled, so I do want to thank him very much. A couple points I want to make to finalize this. Yesterday, the Associated Press reported that Paul Manafort, the chairman of the Trump campaign, was paid tens of millions of dollars by a Russian oligarch and a close ally of Vladimir Putin to push policies that would benefit the Putin regime and undermine democracy in Eastern Europe. We also know that General Michael Flynn, who the President appointed as National Security Advisor, was forced to resign after he lied about his interactions with the Russians. And our current Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, also lied under oath
Senator De
about his
Leon?
dealings with the Russians.
One moment, please. Senator Gaines.
These issues are not related to the resolution. They're not mentioned in the resolution. So
All right.
I think the conversation and the debate should be narrowed.
Thank you. We're going to take a moment.
Different type of censorship.
Senator Gaines, we just had a vote on the similar issue, and the chair's decision stood. So this is, pardon me? So this is considered dilatory, which means you're delaying the process. So we're going to go ahead and let Senator De Leon proceed. Thank you. Senator De Leon.
Thank you very much, Madam President. We know that multiple other campaign officials, including J.D. Gordon and Carter Page, also met with Russian officials during the campaign, despite repeatedly denying any contacts. We know that at the direction of candidate Trump, Mr. Gordon personally intervened in the Republican Party's platform process to make it friendlier to Putin's covert war in the Ukraine. That happened with the change of the party platform. We also know that despite the president's repeated insistence that he had no business ties with Russia, that wealthy Russian individuals, some close to the government of Vladimir Putin, have invested nearly $100 million in Trump properties. This is a fact that is germane to Senate Resolution number 23, irrespective if there is a diverse and passionate perspective that may be different than what we're speaking to on this issue 23. Now, this is very important because we are talking about the democracy of this great nation. And that's why I want to say, colleagues, that we put America before party and we put this country first. This is the greatest nation in the world. And that's why I rise in support of this Senate Resolution number 23.